What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode 13 of AthleteCast. Today we have a very special guest on the pod today, and who are we here with?
I'm Keeley Curley.
All right, Keeley, what sports do you play here?
I am on the women's wrestling team.
Okay, so we're gonna start out with a simple question. What made you realize that you wanted to do wrestling at the collegiate level?
Honestly, when I graduated high school, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to continue to wrestle. Um, McGinnis reached out to me my senior year, probably about halfway through the year. That was before Coach Emma was even on the coaching roster yet. Women's wrestling was a new team at Simpson. It was just their first year when I was a senior. So when I came in as a freshman, it was year 2 of the program. But McGinnis reached out to me and kind of got me thinking of, well, maybe I do want to continue to compete in college. I started my freshman year of high school, so I was still fairly new to the sport. I just didn't think that I had what it took to be a college athlete and to be a college wrestler. Um, but eventually, I kept talking to McGinnis. I came on a visit. I loved campus as soon as I stepped on. Just kind of felt like home. What else? Kind of just talking to McGinnis, I loved what he had going for the program, and um, he had a lot of big dreams and goals for the team, and that's kind of what set him apart from other coaches I was talking to. I went to go try and do another visit at another college, but it turned out it was like a super bad snowstorm and blizzard on the way there. I was with my mom. She's like, "We've got to turn around. Like, I can't keep driving in this." So I took that as my sign from God that, like, Simpson's where I'm supposed to be. And it's been home ever since.
Okay, so you're a junior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's one like moment that you cherish on this campus that you would say that you have?
I wouldn't say there's like one specific moment that stands out. I guess it's just the relationships that I've made, not just with my teammates and coaches, but also professors. Um, my advisor, John Walker, he is like one of my favorite professors here on campus. And just like all of my advisors, they care about me as a person. And I just think it stands out a lot that they have that personal connection with me. They'll ask how my weekend was. They know what's going on in my life. And they can ask me, like, I was at nationals and they were following me even when I was away competing, and they come back and they're like, "Hey, congrats, like, great job." Like, you're not going to find that at a bigger school, and nobody's going to, I don't know, take the time, I guess, that I feel like these professors do here. And I also saw a TikTok that was like, my coaches did a really good job at finding my bridesmaids. So, like, I don't know, I kind of resonate with that too, because like the girls that are on my team, I love so deeply and dearly that, like, these are the girls that I'm going to be friends with the rest of my life. So I really cherish the friendships and um, relationships I've made.
Okay, so wrestling season is over. So for you, what's the recap of the wrestling season for you? I don't know how
Personally,
wrestling works. Yeah, personally, just for you.
I don't know my record on the season. I think I had 5 losses and 20 something wins. It was a really great season for me this year. We had 2 qualify for nationals, me and Annie Obermark. Um, I think there's big things coming in store for next year. We're definitely gonna have some more qualifiers, but this was a huge year for women's wrestling in general. As the first national NCAA sanctioned tournament. We've always just been under the NWCA before this, so it was really big. The first inaugural women's wrestling national tournament, and to just be part of something so huge was such an amazing experience. Um, there's literally, I just am kind of speechless when it comes to how everything ended and how the season went, just because it is so big and such a historical part of women's wrestling. And just super grateful for how everything went. I ended up 7th at nationals, and it's D1, D2, and D3 all combined right now. D3 will separate in a couple years, but just the fact that I'm like truly the 7th in the nation is kind of wild.
All right, nationals. How did like nationals feel to you? when you went there to compete?
I kind of already touched on it a little
Yeah.
bit, but it was just like it's so exciting. And even though Annie and I were the only ones competing, all of my teammates got to come along and they were all cheering so loud. And it was just like, it was the best feeling ever just to have such an amazing support system. A whole bunch of family and friends came too. So it was just exciting, electric. It was awesome.
Okay. All right. On to the next question. So you said you didn't really know if you wanted to come to college and compete at the collegiate level for wrestling. So what was your like recruiting process like coming out of high school?
I was really only talking to McGinnis and then a couple other schools. One of them was Iowa Wesleyan, which isn't even a college anymore, so good thing I didn't go there. But I didn't really have a lot of recruiters, I guess, reaching out to me. Um, yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't know if just women's wrestling wasn't picked up enough. I mean, there's been a lot more additions to D3 women's wrestling programs now, and I guess D1 and D2 when we are talking about it. But I guess I don't know. When McGinnis reached out, yeah, I wasn't really sure whether I wanted to continue, but I wouldn't change it for the world now, and I couldn't see myself anywhere else and not being a student athlete. I think I'm a busybody. I don't know what to do with myself when it's just like a lazy day. It's like, all right, what are we gonna do today, guys? I can't just sit around. Um, so yeah, I couldn't see myself not being a student athlete now. Um, I'm just really grateful that McGinnis did reach out because life would look a lot different.
All right. So I know you're a junior and everything, and you probably gotten past this phase. But what was this? What was the biggest adjustment coming from high school to college?
Like sports wise.
Sports wise, it can be student wise, just in general.
Sports wise, I would say high school. I don't know if you know this about high school. Women's wrestling is all folk style, and college is freestyle. So it was learning a whole new, different side of wrestling. That was the biggest challenge for me, I would say. Um, I never went to like any out of season tournaments. Like Fargo's a huge one that you hear girls going to. I never went to those. It was like so fresh to freestyle when I first came into college, and that was just a big adjustment for me coming in.
Okay, so what's the difference? Like, I kind of get the gist of freestyle, but like,
Hmm.
what's the difference between freestyle and what you said was again?
Folk style,
Folk style.
yeah.
What's the difference?
Freestyle is just a lot faster pace. So folk style, you get taken down, then you have to get up off of bottom. The person on top has as much time in the world. I mean, the minute periods
Mm.
matter, but when you get taken down, like you have the rest of the period to either get up off of bottom or to keep them down, right? In freestyle, that's not the case. You get taken down, and then the person on top gets 15 seconds roughly before we're back up on our feet. So you have to start that all over again. You just took them down, and then you got to take them down again. But that's the biggest thing I would say. And then just the point scoring is the most different, I would say. Um, but yeah, freestyle is just a lot faster paced.
Mhm. All right. Have you ever had like a welcome to wrestling, college wrestling moment?
Welcome to college wrestling
Yeah.
moment. Oh gosh. I think maybe regionals freshman year. I wrestled Bellamere at regionals. That's when she was at Iowa. And I was like, oh boy, these girls are good. Um, Freshman year, I almost made it to nationals. I got fifth, and it was top four at that time. But man, yeah, that was tough. And we had a really tough conference. We had Lindenwood, McKendree, Iowa. It was rough freshman year, but we've grown since then.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, as an athlete, what does leadership mean to you?
Um, for me, I like to lead by example. I'm not really the person that's gonna come up to you and start yelling at you to start doing things right. I just want others to kind of find inspiration in me and motivation in some sort of way. I guess just try to put my best foot forward, whether it's practice or lifts or outside of wrestling, academics, how you're feeling your body, nutrition, all those types of things. I'm just trying to be the best version of myself that I can be, and I hope that the girls younger than me on the team are can look up to me, and hopefully I can be an inspiration to them.
Okay. I feel like you kind of touched on this next question with that, but what are some things that you wish to accomplish here before you graduate? Because you only have 1 year left. So, in that year, or if you already accomplished it, what are you looking to accomplish?
I just I want to try and keep getting better and better. Obviously, like getting a higher place at nationals would be great. But also, I think something that's really important that isn't really talked about is that like it's not all about results. It's about the daily process, day in and day out. The results are nice and it's great to win, but at the end of the day, that's not what makes you a better person. It's the discipline that goes into getting you there and the preparation that goes into that moment, into that final moment. So at the end of the day, I'm proud of what I've accomplished so far. That doesn't mean that I don't want to shoot for high dreams and high goals. But also you have to. The result isn't all that matters. You kind of one thing that I lean on is just surrendering the outcome. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I trust in my training. I've worked really hard to get to where I am, and now it's just time to go leave it all out on the mat.
Okay, when you're done wrestling, what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for someone who came in and grinded every day, someone who worked hard, someone that you could look up to. Um, the re- yeah, like I've said before, the results are great. Having the accolades that I do is awesome. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Um, but I want to be more than just a national place winner. Um, Someone that people actually do look up to um, and want to learn from.
Okay. All right. How would you define yourself beyond the sport of wrestling?
I don't want to like toot my own horn.
I mean, it's hard. I've seen your accolades now, and I feel like you're being way too humble right now because I've seen all of them. So
I would say outside of wrestling, I'd say even in wrestling, I think I'm just a very determined person. I'm very driven. I feel like I have a really hard work ethic. I just have really high goals set for myself, and I just want to give my all in everything that I do. It's hard for me to not to. I don't know. Like it's just something instilled in me. Um, but yeah, I think just working like hardworking person, determined, someone who has a strong faith, something that's important to me. Yeah.
okay, I like that one. Okay, what's something people misunderstand about college women wrestling?
I think I hear some of the guys on the men's team be like, "Oh, if I was a girl, I could just like run through that bracket."
Mhm.
But it's like it's such a completely different game, and it's it's grown the sport so much. I think people have said it before that like women's wrestling is what saved wrestling. And I think that's so true because men's wrestling was on the downhill slide before women's wrestling finally picked up. I think if it weren't for women's wrestling, wrestling would, yeah, fizzle. It would be dwindling. Um, but no, women's wrestling is hard. It's still hard. I don't know if we make it look easy or not, but
I'm not. I've come to a few wrestling meets. I don't know how you guys do it at all. I would not have the stamina to do that.
yeah,
But I like that though. I like. I'm getting into wrestling more.
yeah.
Like watching, coming
No,
to
you
watching you
should.
guys. Like it's kind of cool. It makes me want to do it, but I know I'm not. I know I'm not gonna do it. All right, next question. How do you handle the pressure of performing while balancing school?
I think just setting yourself up for success is what really helps me. Is that like procrastination really sucks. Like, I know I have a 6-page paper due in a class that I've known about since the beginning of semester that I probably should have done by now, but it's not. It will get done. But I guess just setting yourself up for success as much as possible, getting your stuff done as early as you can. I talked about relationships with professors, just making sure that you're having those conversations with them. How can I stay up to date in those classes? I don't know how some of the other girls on my team do it. I'm a business management, marketing, comm double major, but some of our girls are like biochem and math majors, and I don't know how they're keeping up their classes. Props to them. Um, but I think that's just what the responsibility and hard work. I think it's instilled in all of us on the team, and just keeping up with their classes. It's hard, but you can do it,
Yeah. I mean, it's always easier said than done.
right?
What's like throughout your journey? What's the toughest mental challenge you've faced?
I would say just self doubt in general, and maybe like some sort of imposter syndrome. Just not believing that you're as good as you are. I think that's something that a lot of athletes do face, is that it's easier to have negative thoughts than positive thoughts, and it's hard to catch those negative thoughts where they're at and turn them around. Um, that's why I have to have like sticky notes posted up all over, because otherwise, negative thoughts, bro, they're hard.
They're hard to get past.
They're hard to get past. Yeah, but I think just like having that positive self-talk is so super important, and it helps you in practices, in games, to rely on those positive thoughts. I kind of forgot what the question was, but
Like, what's the toughest mental challenge that you've
oh yeah,
faced?
yeah, just imposter syndrome for sure. Um, Believing that you're there for a reason. I think one thing that really, or one example that really pops out to me is I placed third at World Team Trials last year. First place goes to Worlds. Second place goes to the Pan American Championships. And then third is like kind of an alternate, right? So the second place girl tore something in her knee. So then I got the call saying, hey, you have a chance to be on the Team USA Pan American Championship team. Do you want it? Like, absolutely. But then, we got there in July, and I'm like, am I supposed to be here? Like, do I deserve to have this spot on this team? Like, I don't know if I have what it takes. Just a lot of self doubt when it came to that. And then I went out and won the championship. And I was like, wow, okay, maybe I do deserve to be here. Like, I am good. And that's instilled a lot of confidence in me, I guess, is that I can do whatever I put my mind to. And you deserve to be where you're at.
Okay. You said like you have like a lot of faith. Like, can you like go in more depth about that? Like, faith in like yourself or faith in God or
Yeah,
you know?
definitely faith in God. I grew up going to church, and I think since college, my faith has grown a lot stronger, just having a real personal relationship and connection with God. And it's something that really helps me also before my matches. I talked about not relying on results,
Mhm.
because I know that God's got a plan for me, and I know that God doesn't define me as a wrestler. A wrestler isn't what he defines me as. I find my worth in God, and instead of those results. If I have a bad meet or tournament, it's at the end of the day, it's just a sport, and it's just wrestling, and it's not going to get me into heaven. So that's something that really helps me, is that I know that, yeah, my worth isn't defined in my sport, and I'm not just a wrestler. I'm a child of God, and God believes in me. And
It's the first time I've ever heard somebody put that like that. Okay, on to the next question. Have you ever considered quitting wrestling, and why did you keep wrestling?
maybe during like the tough weight cuts, when it's like, oh, why do I even do the sport?
Mm.
But it never actually seriously. I don't. There's never been a time where I'm like, oh yeah, this is not for me.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. There's something about wrestling. We're kind of crazy. There's something I think wrong with our brains for us to want to do this sport. But you put us all together, and we're all just like weird puzzle pieces that somehow come together and match up and make a big, cute little picture. Uh, yeah, we're weird, but it works. I couldn't imagine any other sport.
Okay. So you say you started in your freshman year of
Hmm.
high school. So what made you want to start wrestling your freshman year of high school?
So I come from a big wrestling family. I've got 5 older siblings. My dad wrestled in high school. I've got my oldest brother wrestled in high school and college. My so it goes Kyle, Kayla, Colin, Kendra, Keegan, Keeley. So Kyle wrestled in high school and college. Kayla, she didn't wrestle because it wasn't really picked up yet, but she did do taekwondo, and then she played volleyball in college and softball. And then Colin, unfortunately, he passed away when he was 5, so he didn't get the chance to wrestle in college, but I think he probably would have. And then Kendra wrestled in high school. Then she went on to Iowa State and did judo. And then after that, she went on and wrestled at Ottawa, Kansas while she got her master's. And then Keegan wrestled in high school. So, yeah, come from a big wrestling family. When Kendra was done with her master's degree, it's kind of when wrestling was first starting to pick up, and it was probably 8th grade year. We were sitting at the dinner table, and my dad was like, he kind of just brought up the fact that women's wrestling was picking up and that maybe we should start a team. I'm at my small high school, and at first it was like kind of a joke, but then Kendra was like, well, if you actually want to start a team, I'll coach you. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So freshman year, it was me, her, and then my other head coach, Dan Stiefel. We started every morning at 6 a.m., and they poured a lot into me. It was just me on the team. But by my senior year, we had 11 girls. So kind of a wild ride, but super cool.
Nah, that's dope. So you could just like create your own team.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more that
Yeah.
went into it, but I mean, really, it was just me, Dan, and Kendra that first year, like trying to find any tournament that we could like entering me in and setting me out there. So
Yeah, I guess you gotta start somewhere.
gotta start somewhere.
I've never heard of that though. But then again, in Mississippi, we don't have wrestling. Like I didn't even know it was a collegiate sport until I came here.
Really,
Yeah. Next question: has college changed you as a person?
I would say that it definitely has, but in all good ways. I think that my character has developed a lot. Just being by myself and truly finding out who I am without anyone else that I really know around, um, just allowed me a lot of time to kind of just reflect on, yeah, who I am, what my core values are, and just a lot of character development throughout the years.
Okay. All right. So you talked about your confidence earlier. So what does confidence mean to you, and how do you build it for any other person that's looking to build their confidence out there?
Confidence is something that you've got to spend a lot of time on. I think some people do have it naturally, which props to you if you do. It's something hard to achieve. Um, but for me, I've put a lot of time into figuring out how to instill that confidence in myself. And a lot of it just does come from that daily process, day in, day out, working hard each day, just making sure that I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but just like making sure that you're setting yourself up for success and being as prepared as you can possibly be. And that's something that I relied on before all my matches is that I'm prepared. I've put in the hard work. Now it's just time to go do the dang thing. So that's where a lot of my confidence comes from is just knowing that I can wrestle hard for 6 minutes and that I deserve I deserve to be there because I've worked to get to this moment. Now it's just time to go perform.
What's something that you're working on mentally or emotionally? It's kind of both the same thing,
Yeah.
though. So,
Let's see. I think that we talked about soft talk earlier, but that's something that I'm going to continue to work on. I think that's something that is never not going to be something I need to work on because it's an everyday thing. You're not just going to be able to stop the negative thoughts ever. I think positive self-talk is just something that super important. Work on every day. How do I stop the negative thoughts where they are without them becoming kind of a flood? Um, and how can I change things around? One thing that really works for me is just being grateful. It's hard to have negative thoughts when you start thinking about what you're thankful for and just the opportunities that you're given. I just think about like not everybody is given the opportunity to come to a college, and not only that, but to pursue your passion in college. Um, so it's hard to be thinking negative when you're like, man, I really am grateful for every experience, whether it's hard or not.
Okay. All right. What does a support system look like for you?
Man, I have like the best support system I think ever.
Mhm.
My family and friends. I'm just a big family person. They've always had my back, and friendships. Man, I just like the support that I receive is something I will always be grateful for because like I hop on Facebook and like my mom will be posting about me on there. And all these people, I mean, I don't even know who they are. They'll be commenting, "Great job! Like you did amazing." I'm like the support, yeah, no words, honestly. Just like support, it does mean a lot, and it goes a long way. And just to have all those people in your corner, whether I know them like I do my teammates and coaches and family and friends, close friends, or whether they're my mom's friends commenting on Facebook, like the support just means a lot.
Okay. What motivates you on days when you're exhausted?
I think I go back to that just being grateful. Um, it's easy to become mentally and physically, emotionally exhausted from the sport. It takes a lot. It's a grind, but just being grateful for every opportunity.
Wait, was that it? I didn't want to cut
Yeah,
you
I
off.
think that's
Okay.
it.
I didn't want to cut you off. So, what would you say is the hardest part about being a student athlete?
I would say it's just so, it's very demanding at times. And it's just figuring out how to not put your entire self into your sport because I mean you have a bad day in your sport and then all of a sudden your day is ruined. Like how do I have the separation between who I am outside of my sport and who I am in my sport? Just having those things that you can rely on outside, I guess for me is what stands out. Like I know my roommate, she loves to play video games. Like that's her thing. It's like that's how she can decompress. Um, Something that she enjoys outside of the sport. I just like hanging out with family and friends. I think that helps me a lot. Just like go on hikes and stuff. It's nice when it's nice outside to do that sort of thing. But yeah, just to kind of have that almost like a work life balance, but with your sport and academics. Um, just being able to have those outside things that you can rely on.
Yeah. What have any coach in any point of your journey taught you beyond wrestling?
I'm really kind of biased when it comes to coaches because I think that I've had like literally the best coaches. Um, my sister is like one of the biggest role models for me,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing her juggle everything that she does and have the strength that she does. I don't know if this can even like go beyond coaches. I think I'm gonna like dive into my family a little bit here. Um, my oldest sister Kayla just got done with her radiation treatments for breast cancer. It's just like she has 4 kids and she was juggling all their activities plus her treatments plus she teaches at the high school. It's like seeing her handle all of that with so much strength and bravery. Like I've just got some really inspirational people, not only in my corner but just surrounded. I They're just super inspirational. I mean, my other sister that was my coach, she's got 3 kids, and she was doing a full-time job and waking up at 6 a.m. to come to practices and then staying after for tournaments, and while also, yeah, handling her 3 kids. It's just really admirable just to have those strong women and people around me.
I like that one. Okay. How do you handle feedback or criticism for coaches or your teammates?
I think that feedback is really important, and you kind of have to just decide how you're gonna let it affect you. You can either use it to grow, or it can tear you down. So just realizing that the feedback is positive, and take what you can from it and learn from it. Feedback can be such a good thing, and I think it's really great. I mean, every time after matches, I'll go and watch film with coaches. It's like, okay, how can I get better? The feedback that I learned from those times are really important, and I think that they've helped me continue to grow as a wrestler and get to where I am. So feedback, as hard as it can be to kind of hear criticism, it's such a great thing and something that I think everybody needs to have.
All right. What's the biggest lesson you've learned from being a part of Simpson College I mean, your wrestling team. I was going to say football.
Um, Gosh, I would say just like bet on yourself and believe in yourself. Take every risk and opportunity and bet on yourself in every situation. The worst thing that people can say is no. And like the worst thing that could happen, all right, you lose. Right? So take every risk, take every opportunity, and grow from those experiences.
Who or what keeps you grounded or level headed?
I'm going to go back to my faith on this one. It's something that I think helps me the most when it comes to being level, I guess. um just having the peace that only God can give is what keeps me grounded, realizing that there's more to life than what's on this earth. um and it's just, I think I find the most peace like just being connected with God. A lot of times I just like sitting outside because I'm just like, God made all of this and he made me. So that's pretty cool. Um, that I guess that's just like where I find the most peace in my life.
Okay. All right. What advice would you give to high school women that wants to come to college and compete in women's wrestling?
The biggest piece of advice,
Yeah.
I'd say just have big dreams and chase after them. Um, I would have never thought that I'd be where I am today. Like freshman year, starting out, no way. I'd be like, there's no way that I've accomplished that much. But like, don't count yourself out. There's so much in store for you. The world's your oyster. So set those big dreams, set those big goals, and chase after them.
Okay. I'm finna give you a disclaimer. This might be loud. Okay, now we're moving on to the fast question round. Okay.
Oh boy.
So, what's your go-to competition music?
Ooh, like pre-match song.
Pre-match song.
My favorite pre-match song is "You Can't Stop Me" by Andy Mineo.
Okay. One word to be describe being a women's college wrestler.
Gritty.
Gritty? Why
Yep.
gritty?
Dude, it's one of the toughest sports, and being a female, it's so badass. Badass female athlete if you're a wrestler. Props to all the other sports too, but female wrestlers, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. We're gritty.
Okay. What's one word a teammate would describe you?
Determined.
Determined. Okay. If not wrestling, what would you be doing? Like any career choice, any sport. Actually,
Like if I couldn't wrestle,
yeah,
what
if
other
you
sport
couldn't-
would I do?
Yeah, if you couldn't wrestle, what other sport would you do?
Rugby.
Rugby? Why
Yeah.
rugby?
I think it'd be fun.
You should just play football at that point.
I started a women's football team and I'm on it.
You did? You
No.
started it?
No. But if they did.
Oh, if they
If they
did,
started like a women's division of football,
you
put me
play?
on it.
Okay. What position?
I don't know.
Can you throw?
Mild.
Can
Mild.
you
I can catch.
catch?
We play some pretty mean games of handball in the wrestling room, so maybe if handball had a sport, they kind of do, don't they? Water polo, basically. Maybe water polo.
Actually, I don't know about that one.
Hmm.
I don't know. All right. Do you have any game day superstitions? Like anything you have to do like before the match?
Just get a good warm up in. That's about it.
Okay. Last question. What is your biggest fear as an athlete?
Biggest fear?
Mhm.
If we're getting real, I think just like letting other people down and being a disappointment. But I also know that I have people who do support me and who do love me and that they don't care where I place or what I do within my wrestling career. They just want to see me succeed and to be a good person.
Okay. I like that. Okay, that was the last question I have for you today, Keeley. Is there anything you would like to say to the audience before we end this off?
Thank you for having me on. Everyone,
course.
go chase your dreams and don't let your fear, don't have imposter syndrome, believe in yourself, have confidence. Dive into that positive self-talk. You can do big things.
Well, all right, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like button. Don't forget to share with any of your friends or any other athletes. Comment down below any more questions that you want me to ask the athletes, or which other sports or other people that you want on the podcast. And that's all I have for you guys. Peace.